Is it just us again?
So far, so good.
Okay.
I just had an orientation call and there were some people on there, so I thought for sure that they would just hop on. I had all my coaches on the call, so
Oh,
and I'm hoping they'll come. And if not, Rocky, it's just you and me.
that sounds like an interesting idea. I would like that. I think I talked to Marlene last night. I think she's going to try to get on here.
Okay, good, good. How are you this morning?
A little anxious. I've got some yard work, some groundwork, water drainage that needs to be done, and the guy was just he one of the bids that I'm getting. The guy was just here, and I'm looking at a big chunk of money. And
Mhm.
that just has a knot in the middle of my stomach.
Boy,
So it's something that has needed to be done. And it's hard to get people to, well, I got a bid 2 years ago and the guy never came to do it, but yet he did a project for the church. He did a project for my neighbor. He never came back to me. And that hurts your feelings. And when you're a woman by yourself and you don't know anything about this, and then you don't have, it's just, I feel like my bubble's been burst.
tell you what, just while you're feeling this, just you don't have to go through all the points. Just take a deep breath as you're feeling this. And for those just popping on, we're talking about Rocky had some groundwork to be done and she got a bid a couple years ago and the guy just never came back and just feeling like, I guess you're being ignored and her bubble got burst and
Just
this
starting all over with new bids.
yeah, so new bids doing it again.
And he
And
was just here.
my guess is it's a good thing that this person didn't come and do the work for you. I'm a fan of Tony Robbins, and he always says it does life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. We just have to figure out what that for is,
Yeah,
why that's important, why that is happening the way it does. And nothing has meaning except the meaning we give it.
that's very true. Yeah.
So if you feel slighted, you're giving it that meaning. And some things I've heard myself say, oh, that's ridiculous. Of course it has meaning and it has this meaning. And then when I step back, I'm like, oh, it doesn't have to have that meaning. It could have a different meaning. So, um, and I appreciate you that are on here that are just tapping and you don't even know why we're tapping. And I love that borrowed benefit of EFT work, that whatever might be happening for you in the moment, just taking a deep breath, getting centered. And I think sometimes that's, I talked about it on the orientation call just a second ago, that tapping is a reverberation, right? So you don't have to know that you have to go to this point and go down and go out, and you can just be somewhere in here. And that reverberation vibration helps just kind of settle and open those pathways to let stuff go. So welcome, welcome, welcome to today's buddy call. It is Friday, February 20th. And my name is Annette, Coach Annette, and I am so happy to be here. And I'm happy to see my other coaches here. Not my other coaches, but our other coaches. Um, and thank you for being here and bringing your faces to our group here. So and I say this every time, if you can be on camera, please do. I really appreciate being able to see what's happening for you, and then how things are, you might be reacting to things. So if you're comfortable, whether you're in a baseball cap or a potato chip clip, I encourage you to show yourself, because this is a buddy group too, and we are building community. It helps to be able to see your face, and just kind of get a sense of, that we're all in this together. That's what this group is for, is to, I just said it, build the community, build connection, make sure that we understand we're not in this alone, that there are people here that can help support us and that we can support as well. You may be 2 weeks behind somebody, you may be a month ahead of somebody else, and what you bring to the group may help more than you'll ever know. So I encourage you to show up and share. And as we share and unmute and share, please give me your name and then a win. Something, and I said this last call too, what's wrong is always available. It's easy to find out what's missing and what's wrong, but what's right is also available too. And by sharing the wins, we teach ourselves to look for the good as well, to look for the, whether they're non-scale wins, or wins on the scale, or just wins in our day. So just as you approach and unmute yourself, I encourage you to just share some, and if that's getting out of bed and brushing your teeth, fantastic, share it, and we'll celebrate you. So anybody have anything to start this morning? I see some stuff going on in the chat, and I'll look at it, but I don't usually pay attention because I'm focused on you. But I just saw something about women's hockey. Yeah, hello, in overtime. So, but wow, I mean, did anybody see that or watch the medal ceremony for Canada? How dejected they were. I mean, they were winning up until until overtime, and then USA got in there, but the faces on the Canadian women were absolutely dejected. And it was so, I mean, not everyone can win, and not everyone gets a participation trophy. And somebody who sits on the couch and watches it, I'm like, well, silver's good, but I know silver is not the goal. The goal is gold. And so my heart went out to, as much as I celebrated with United States, my heart went out to the Canadians, because it was just they thought for sure they had it. And sometimes sometimes we learn more by losing than we do by winning. I'm bringing it back to, not to the Canadian hockey team, but back to us, that sometimes with these struggles that we have, whether it's with our weight or with a contractor, we learn more about ourselves in that process. So again, life is happening for us, and if you can reframe your thoughts that way and look for where the growth is, or where the learning is, where the grace is, that might be a good place to start this morning. So it's an open forum. Unmute yourself and come on down.
Hey, Annette, I'm just going to piggyback off what you were saying. It's nothing great, but I have learned, through this process, and I continue to learn, what you were saying about, losses or periods of stagnation, or periods where your life, you've got so much coming at you that the best you can do is hang on tight and maintain it. You're learning through all of it. So I'm learning to even welcome those times. I've just gone through one at the beginning of the year, just so many things pulling my attention in so many different directions, feeling like I'm not as focused as I want to be. Certain things that I used to beat myself up about, and now I've really learned to give myself a lot of grace, maybe too much grace, I don't know, but but it's a lot better than, the beating yourself up, which led to burnout in my previous career and, all of that. So yeah, you learn from losses, you learn from, people, we call it plateaus when we're on, diets. I don't think of it as a diet or a plateau anymore, but I'm on one of those too. Like, I was losing pretty regularly, and now for the past few months, it's just been flatlining, and once upon a time that I would have considered that a loss. I would have considered that bad. I don't consider it that anymore. This is a time for my body. It's readjusting, and I clearly have more things to learn, and I'm giving myself grace to weather this not really storm, but it's a little stormy when you're being pulled in a lot of different directions, and it's all good. So I just kind of wanted to piggyback off what you were saying about losses aren't really losses. They're learning opportunities. So that's it.
Thank you, Dawn. And I agree, again, if we can teach ourselves to rephrase what's happening and be curious about why it's happening. I mean, it can be very easy to go into victim mode. And by that, I just mean that you feel like you don't have any control. And we may not have control over an external circumstance or participant, but when I learn to refocus on what I do have control over in that circumstance or in that event or in that moment, there can be great learning in there. Now, that's not to say that I do it every single time. There's plenty of times where I jump on the scale, say this morning, and the scale's gone up a couple pounds, and I'm like, for preference, I could but there was too much, I don't, but then I stop and think, oh yeah, I ate lasagna last night. In fact, I ate 2 pieces of lasagna last night, and then I had a piece of cheesecake. What did I expect to happen? So that's and I've said it before on these calls, I get up and I weigh myself every day, but I have for a couple of years, and I keep a little calendar and I just write the weight, and I don't put anything to it. I don't the reason I do it, some people hate the scale, some people get, obsessive about the scale. I did this for me so that I wouldn't be obsessive about the scale. This was a matter of information and data for me every morning, that when I get on the scale and it's gone up, I'm like, okay, why is that? But it's great for me to check in. And because if I wasn't checking in and I didn't stop to think, okay, why did the scale go up? Then it might keep going up and keep going up until obviously my pants don't fit. And I'm like, well, this is a surprise, when it really isn't a surprise, because I'm absolutely aware now of that my behavior actually has a consequence, whether that's that I'm exercising, or that I'm eating lasagna. One way or the other, there's a consequence. So it's all about learning ourselves, right, in this process. Anybody have anything?
No. I made it here, so that's a win. I also, when Dawn was talking, it reminded me of something that I had difficulty at the way I was looking at it. So I'm 65, and I have slept with a CPAP for 22 years. And I had to go for another sleep study because it was time for them to check it. And Medicare said, we will not cover anything anymore because your results were too low. And I was really upset because that's who I was. I was someone that slept with a CPAP. And I took it everywhere. I'm an international solo traveler and I take it everywhere. And it took a little adjusting to me not being that anymore. And I mean, clearly now it's like I just had to get through the way I viewed that and the way I viewed myself, because I'm happier that I don't have to do that anymore. And things are working out really well because my blood pressure medicine was reduced to the lowest level right after that, because it was too much. My blood pressure was dropping too low after that. So I don't know if there was some correlation to the CPAP or if it was coincidental, but at 65, I'm only on allergy medicine and the low dose of blood pressure medicine. And so those are definitely wins. I got bad knees, but that's a different one, and we're working on that. But yeah, those are great things that as I said, initially looked at as if someone was taking some beloved thing away, which is kind of crazy now that I'm looking at it from this side. It's great that I don't have to use it anymore. So That's what I'm looking at right now.
That's an awesome win. That is an awesome win. And the bigger picture win is you coming to terms with and adjusting your identity, and looking at the positives of what that means as opposed to a loss of this identity of having to have a CPAP machine. So yay.
Thanks.
Anybody else want to piggyback? Is there anything anybody wants to work on today? Come on, unmute yourself, Margaret.
Well, I would just like to say, be it disease, thoughts, or whatever, we have to watch our thinking so we don't take ownership of things. Like, I have a friend who talks about my cancer, my cancer, my cancer. And I tell her, quit claiming it. You know, your body hears everything that you think and say. And yes, things happen to us, but we also don't have to take ownership to hold it. 40 years ago, I was diagnosed with melanoma and had surgery. And my doctor said, and of course, I was 40 years younger, but he told me, well, and it was on my back, it's going to be 2 years before you can lift your arm over your head. And I told him, no, it won't. And my first reaction was, how am I going to fix my hair? So we may not feel like we have control in instances, but we need to support our body mentally as well as physically. So, and when I reached my 10-year mark, my oncologist and my surgeon both told me, never thought you'd make it 10 years.
Those
And
red
it's been 40. And my surgeon told me, and I love my surgeon, he told me, well, the man's not finished with you yet. You still have things to do. And I think about that, you know, as things happen, and keep thinking, oh, I wonder what else I'm supposed to do. So, watching your thoughts is so important, because even if you don't verbalize them, your body hears, feels whatever your thoughts are. And be kind to your body and your mind. So, kind of my thinking today.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for sharing that. That's a real life, real world situation, where you know, it makes a difference how we phrase things to our body. You're absolutely right. I mean, there's a book, Kelly McGonigal, I think is her name, and she's from Stanford, and she has a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And you don't need to get the book or you know, unless you want to, but it's all about how the body does know what's happening. Our mind, you know, the thoughts that we think have a certain vibration, those go into our body, and it's our choice whether or not we get to hang on to those and believe them. Of course, most of us have beliefs from childhood that aren't even ours. We weren't conscious enough at that time to understand that other people were putting their thoughts and limiting beliefs and judgments on us, and we took them as gospel, so to speak, because they came from authority figures. And it's that awareness to be able to not claim something or claim something different in its place. It is a very, very powerful skill. So thank you, Margaret, very much. I have a friend, I'm going to ramble for a second. I have a friend who his mother got cancer, and the doctor, before the mother came out of surgery, the doctor told my friend, your mom's got about 3 to 4 months to live. And he said, don't you tell her that. Don't you dare tell her that. And every time that the doctor came in the room, he would not let the doctor talk to his mother about a prognosis or anything like that. And so he started putting on funny movies they had this is a while ago, so they had DVD or VHS players in the hospital for the televisions. So he would play humorous movies, and they would just laugh and laugh and laugh, right? And just, he would never let every time the doctor was like, well, we need to talk, he's like, oh, doctor, I got this. We got this. And his mother lived another 8 years. And he was determined that she wasn't going to hear that she only had a couple months to live. So it's all what we allow into our mind, what we take ownership of, and what we're willing to let set in our body and our mind and our we've got a physical body, an electrical body, a spiritual body, an auric body. There's all these bodies that, we're not just this flesh and being. And we are a whole body. And that's our goal here, right? That I believe that's our goal, is to start coming back to our wholeness and what we can believe about ourselves to be pure and positive and strong. And I love this group for that, because just the few shares that we've had really let us know how powerful we are. We are so powerful. And I just want us to embody that as much as possible. Feel like I'm preaching over here. So anybody else?
Annette, I just have to, oh, sorry, Lori, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And it's funny because, the part of who we are is we have things to do, responsibilities, places to go, people to be with, all that stuff. And then we need time for ourselves to grow, to heal, develop. And I'm trying to figure out, because I'm trying to build a business. And so I spend a lot of time with that. I have a family, very important to me, spend time with that. This piece of work is what's the word? Passionate, or what's the word? Anyways, I'm wanting to do it, but I'm noticing I've kind of put it off. I'm like, okay, how much time do I actually need to do this? And so I squeeze it into my early mornings to get it into my day. But I'm wondering from others, how much time do you spend on this? And how do you know you've done enough within a day? So that's something, seems practical question, but I'm curious about that.
Are you asking how much time we tap a day? Or
Tap and study.
well, I'm not studying towards doing a coaching or anything. I just do the tapping, and I also do some energy work. So when we're doing the 10 to 1, is your anxiety of the issue that you're tapping on decreasing? I muscle test to find out where I am on that. And when I tap at the end of the day, for some reason, I just don't think much about it during the day. when you're busy, but the time I tap is in the evening, and I've got my list of scripts and things like that that I want to work on. And, where am I now? I'm at an 8 or whatever, and I muscle test myself to see where I am instead of trying to think, okay, am I at a 9? Am I at an 8? So I muscle test myself to see where I am. And when I drop down to say, well, 0, of course, is where we want to be. But if I have a 1 or a 2, I'll just ask my subconscious, do I need to repeat this one more time? And my subconscious tells me when I can stop repeating it. If I do it maybe 2 times or 3 times, and then I come to a point, excuse me, usually after about 4 or 5 evenings of tapping, and I get to the point, oh, I need to do this one time, then the next time, do I need to tap on this one? And I muscle test and I get a no. And I'm ready to move on to the next issue of the list, whether it's aversion to sugar. I want an aversion to sugar, so that was very good. And that's something I worked on early, and I've really knocked sugar out of my focus. And I've got, on chocolate and all the things that they've given us the tapping scripts on. And that's how I do it. I let my subconscious say, okay, you can drop this one and you can move on to this one.
That's helpful, Rocky. Thank you. Like I get a sense that it's ongoing. Like this is a lifestyle thing. It becomes part of who we are by doing this, like a maintenance. Like very much like you brush your teeth twice a day. This is the work we need to do to kind of keep whatever this is managed. And so I'm just wondering, as I incorporate it, I guess it's because it's new. It's only been about a month for me. I'm trying to figure out how it fits in with everything else that I'm committed to. Should I be doing a whole bunch of, in the beginning so that I get a sense of what it is and how to do it? And then figure out, like, balance out after. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm doing it on the fly, and I don't like that feeling. I wish I just had all day to just kind of play with it, but I don't. And so, yeah. And I'm also wondering if that's part of the pattern for me, is to sabotage that, like to not make myself first, that kind of thing. So.
And Lori, I was just going to ask you, where else is that showing up in your life? So that, that pattern or not taking care of yourself or not...
Definitely clothes. Like I have always put myself in the back burner for clothes. I always want to be dressed more, better, have style. Not happening. So that's one area. I want to join the gym, but I'm hesitating, resisting it. I actually want to join the gym. That's another area. Yeah, that's all I can think of at this point.
And with the program itself, this work is not a quick fix, right? It's not just hit it and quit it. It is definitely a process and a journey of exploration about who you are. And the reason I ask where else is it showing up in your life is if you're, wanting results immediately or wondering, what's the least I can do and still get by? That isn't what you just said, but that's just what kind of came to me. To stretch yourself a little bit and make yourself a priority. When that has not been your habit, it can feel very awkward. It can feel very selfish, and that is not. In fact, that's maybe we tap on that. Just feeling selfish about taking care of ourselves, putting ourselves first, making sure our own needs are met, doing the work that's going to make us feel better. instead of just making everybody else feel better. Would that be helpful for anybody? Everybody? Some bodies? All right. So go ahead and mute yourself again. I don't have scripts during these calls. I do make scripts, but not for these calls. And so let me just on the side of your hand. Even though I'm unsure about what this is going to take, and I sometimes put myself, what's best for me, off. You can tell I don't use a script. I'm noticing that now. Even though I have patterns where I put myself last, I'm noticing that. And I'm choosing to accept me exactly how I am. And even though I have all these responsibilities and I'm trying to fit this program in, however much time I can put to it, I appreciate that. And your eyebrow, all these responsibilities. Taking care of myself. Trying to put myself first. Not doing a very good job of it. Everybody else's needs seem to be more important. I just want to be low maintenance. I don't want to bother anybody else with what I need. Just kind of stay in the background. Even though I want more, I want to explore what's best for me. I'm curious as to how I can make things better. I'm curious as to how I can put myself first without feeling selfish or entitled. But with the same love that I showed for other people. Whether that's with a new blouse, a gym membership, going to the gym, maybe taking 20 minutes in the morning. Maybe taking 20 minutes in the evening. I mean, I'm definitely worth an hour a day. I am worth an hour a day. I absolutely am worth an hour a day. It's going to make me a better person. I'm going to feel better. I'll feel better about the people around me. I'm worth an hour a day. Plus, I can't wait to explore what's what's available to me. And it doesn't have to be a full hour. It could be 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But I'm worth the investment. And I am my own responsibility. And take a minute, stop tapping and just take a breath. And as I always do, I roll my shoulders back. I just want to get that energy moving and off of me. Maybe sit up a little straighter. And Lori, how does that feel?
Yeah, that feels better. Yeah. Yeah, I liked what you said there about, I can't remember the question, but where can I make this happen or something? That kind of opens up the possibilities, so that was good.
And take some time after this call, if you know, even if it's 5 minutes, and just write down some ways that you can, you know, schedule some time for yourself. Whether it's for this program, you've made I say that all the time and openly, you've made the financial investment into this program, and you're obviously investing your time by being in these calls. So I appreciate you taking that time for yourself and to participate and then to contribute into this community as well. So just where you can, you know, find time while you're doing other things too, maybe that you can actually listen to the calls or the replays, or, you know, the material. A lot of the material is audio and video. So you can listen to it maybe when you are in the middle of doing something else too, that you can find time to do that. So take a few minutes after this class and write down some ways that you can just take. And if it's not an hour a day, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something where you are really focusing on yourself. It's it's important, I think, that we take that time to, especially, you know, most of us are you know, we're not teenagers. We're not just going by the seat of our pants. This is an intentional part of our life where we really want to give ourselves permission and allow ourselves, after so many years, to pay attention to ourselves. And I encourage you, without judgment or guilt or shame, just unabashedly put yourself first.
Okay, thank you.
Did anything come up for anybody else during that? You know, you want to hit unmute. Marlene, thank you.
Right, I tell you, just trying to take time enough so that I can find the list of these calls and how to get onto them. Obviously, I'm what this one guy calls a dabbler, because I sign up for lots of courses, and then I have so much on my plate. I'm overwhelmed and don't get rolling. I guess what I need to do is just plain make a schedule for myself and start sticking to that, because I don't get enough done. Right? And I don't like to think of myself as a dabbler, but obviously that's what I do. And you know, I just signed up for another course yesterday on AI that it's all come from changing occupation. It's all come from the economy going up so much that rents and all that have become so much more just to meet the cost of living. It's just all come a lot more, right? So I've been doing all this scratching to try and figure out what I can do, and that I could make ends work. And so I'd started tutoring some elementary kids, which I really enjoy. And then I get this idea that maybe I should do more or something more in the business world. And so I sign up for courses thinking that I'll do that, but it's so hard to step over the threshold of into something that I haven't seen myself as, right? And so there's that barrier, and I think that's what's stopping me is I haven't seen myself that way. And I put so much judgment on myself, and I hear all those past voices of growing up in a family where my brothers were just absolutely brutal, and whether physically brutal or emotionally brutal. And I just obviously got to tap on that a lot to get those voices out of my head. Just, I think it's so deep in the subconscious that you're a piece of crap, you get away from me, don't be seen with me, don't walk to school with me, you're ugly, you're fat. Just all those constant um put downs, right? For what I could never understand why, right? And I think just that emotional scarring I haven't got to the depth of yet. And so anything to do with even like putting yourself first, right? It's still, I'm always trying to make somebody else happy, right? And I could relate with Lori and not putting myself first as far as clothing, right? I got lots of clothes, but they're mainly t-shirts, right? Um, and jeans, and to go into an environment where like a business, present myself at a business, I'm not dressed for it, right? And so that's probably one of those things back there that I'm not even paying attention to, right? So yeah, putting myself first, and writing these things down. I guess that's what I need to do is write down what my roadblocks are and then start tapping on them.
How many brothers do you have?
4.
Ooh, very outnumbered. Any sisters?
One, and she died this week, but she really didn't like to have anything to do with me. Ever since I was little, I was like, "Is your little sister? Why wouldn't you want to play with your sister? Why wouldn't you ever want to do anything with your sister, right?" So it was always uh my youngest brother was the only one that I really got along with, and I brought him up to Canada when he was 17, and then he he eventually didn't want to have anything to do with me either. I was the blame. If there was he blamed me for his marriage, right? I lived 6 hours away. I had really nothing to do with his marriage. I'd call to talk to him whenever I'd try and be into a communication with him and stuff like that. Um, uh, his wife would always answer the phone and she complained about him all the time. And I'd say, well, he was just a little kid, my mom had strokes when she was 40. And so I ended up kind of being the mom of the family, unappointed, right? But um, that turned my role. My oldest brother went to the service, my sister got married, and I basically turned into the cook and trying to make grade A's, high expectations of myself in school and stuff like that. And we lived out in the country, so it wasn't like there was friends that you could go and visit or anything like that. And there's just, I guess, so much solitude. I guess that's why I like being in solitude. Or uh, anyway, I think it all boils down to eating is my friend, you know. Um, anyways, but making time for myself, that is something that I don't tend to do much of. So that's helpful.
Have you done any echo tapping with your brothers and your sister? Putting them behind the plexiglass and yelling at them or telling them off and sending them up?
My one brother I just did recently, he was a year older than me, and he was extremely destructive to my psychic, right? And but I need to do more of them. I need to do more of that work. So that's a good.
Do you have a one-on-one coach?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. These groups are great. Difficult to really go that deep in these groups. But we have, our coaches do one-on-one coaching, and I'm drawing a blank right now. Let's see where their calendars are. Oops, just hit the wrong button. Casey and Dawn, do you have a link that you could post in the chat that we can find the coaches? Marlene, if that's something you're interested in.
Is it something I got to buy 12 sessions of first before I get any?
I don't know. I do this coaching, the group coaching, and I work with the coaches, but I don't have my calendar open yet for one-on-one. So to be very honest, I'm not sure what the package pricing is, or if you have to
Yeah.
get 12 or that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I have a link for that, Annette.
Thank you.
There's a link for purchasing coaching sessions. You can purchase a package, or you can purchase a single session, I believe. So let me find that, and I will drop it in the chat. And I think it may have the coach information, but give me 1 second. I'll drop that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
And so, because Marlene, I don't, I know you've already invested in the course and the program and stuff, but this sounds to me, it feels to me that we need to go really deep, and get rid of that destructive, because it's not just in your body, it's in your field. Yeah. So it's
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can feel it. Oof. Okay. Take a deep breath, my dear. Take a deep breath. Anger work might also be in your cards. Are you a people pleaser?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think anger work is in your future. So
Thank you.
yeah. How exciting.
Oh, thank you.
Anger work is so
Well,
exciting.
Better to get here now than never, right?
Yes, yes. So Coach Casey has dropped the link into the tapping into the chat. So
Thank you.
oof.
I'll be quiet now.
No, don't be quiet. What you had mentioned, writing some things down, some things that you want to, there's so many things that come to my mind, but in this particular grouping, it's difficult to go that deep. But write down the stuff in your schedule. You mentioned dabbling, and that is a very, very common distraction. And often it happens because we're curious. We want to know what's happening and what's available. And there's all this stuff out there, and it's all good and it's exciting. But it keeps us from going deep. It keeps us from actually, paying attention to the details. And it does feed our need for excitement and variety too, right? We all have these needs. We all want to be certain and safe, and then we all want variety and excitement in our life, and we all want to feel like we matter. And so our behaviors, whether they serve us or don't serve us, we're always trying to meet our needs. And so it's a matter of becoming aware of what is serving us and what might be distracting us. And that awareness in itself, then we can start to ask questions. Why is this? What am I afraid of? Where don't I want to go? And why don't I want to go there? And consequently, why do I want to go? So like the AI, right? I get AI is everywhere. And to learn it is a powerful skill. To learn how to use it as a thinking partner is a very powerful skill. But also we don't want to just have so many things on our plate. And I'm guilty of it too. I have things that I've purchased that I can't even, I've probably forgotten more of the things I've purchased than the the ones I've actually completed. So it is and you're helping me right now ask myself, why is that? Why do I feel the need to have this stuff? Because by purchasing it alone, it's not going to ingrain into our being, right? You actually have to spend the time to go through it and not just go through the motions, but to really ingest it and digest it. So it's a good question to reflect on what's the importance of this and why is this exciting to me and what am I going to get out of it? What am I going to put into it?
Mm-hmm.
So
There was two words you said. Are you doing it for, what was it? One or the other? Was it one started with a D, and I didn't write it down because I haven't seen what piece of paper. Are you not disagreeing, but
distraction.
distracting?
Mhm.
Distracting? Okay, so distracting, or what was the other word? Am I
Oh.
distracting or?
Yeah, I ramble, and so I don't often remember what I say. I've been very, very upfront
No
about
problem.
that. I'm brilliant. I just can't remember why.
You are. Okay, well, distracting's a big word.
Or avoidance, avoidance, distraction. So, Lori, I'll come to you in just a second. Kathy, you've had your hand.
Oh, I was just going to say one sentence you said, Annette, that I copied down is, what's serving us versus what's distracting us.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So Marlene, there it is.
That was it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lori, what's up?
Yeah, that was helpful to hear all that. Thanks, Marlene, for bringing that forward.
Mhm.
What I learned from that is that with courses, and this one included, I go for the end result, like the hope and the what I want, but there's a part of me that doesn't want to do the work, and that's where it gets put on the shelf. And I'm doing the same thing with this, but yet I really want to do the work. It's just like I'm playing with myself in my head. It's like, yeah. So that was helpful to really recognize that's what's going on here.
We have a few minutes left. Let's tap on that because I think that might resonate for a lot of people. So we're just gonna go right into it. I can never decide if I want to wear my glasses or not. I can't see if I don't wear my glasses, but then it's harder to tap. So even though I love buying new courses, it just symbolizes hope, variety, and excitement. I can also get bogged down. I noticed just doing that, how they add excitement, how fast I was tapping too. How quickly I was just tapping when I was doing that, even though when I talked about the excitement and the hope, and all of a sudden I just took a breath and I slowed my tapping down. So even though all this new information excites me and gives me hope, I realize it won't work if I don't do the work. There is so much information out there, and it's exciting to explore it. And I'm beginning to realize it's not going to just magically go into my brain. Dang it. Eyebrow. just the anticipation of a new course. Whether it's a book, an audio program, a video program. There's so much possibility there. I think what I'm looking for is the possibility in myself. How can I be better? What else is out there? But it doesn't just come miraculously. I've got to do the work. Is it because I'm curious? Do I feel like I'm missing something? Do I feel like I'm not enough the way I am? What am I missing? What am I trying to fill up? If I say yes to a new course, I've got to say no to something else. So what am I saying no to? What am I distracting myself from? Is this new shiny thing serving me? Will it enhance my life? Will it enhance who I am? Will it make me more valuable? Will it make me enough? Just take a breath right there for a second. On your eyebrows. It is good to keep learning. And it's good to just be content. There is no good, there is no bad. Those are just judgments. So I'm just going to take a breath right now. And feel into what this new course gives me. Does it serve me? Does it fulfill me? Does it distract me? Does it keep me from going deep into something I need to be focused on? Does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, really, the only meaning that it has is the meaning I give it. So what meaning am I going to give it? What meaning do I give to my wanting to learn? What meaning do I give when I'm trying to avoid something. I have meaning. I matter. I am extraordinary. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. Sorry for the curse word. I matter to me. I am important to me. I am. And that's enough. Just put your hands on your heart space. Let that sink in. I am. And that is enough. If you feel any little tingles in your body, or you need to yawn or take a breath, just be with that. Just be with it. I am, and that is enough. Wow, great job, ladies. Great job. We're at the top of the hour and I want to respect your time. If you need to go off, I totally understand. I won't get my feelings hurt. If you want to stay for a minute and just so we can wrap this up and close intentionally, then please feel free to stay on. Great job. I just watched all of you just stay with it for a second afterwards and just hold on to that space. And I would just want to applaud you for just being okay to take a minute with yourself in that silence and in that space. Thank you. Did anybody have any questions? Did anything come up during that time? Anybody want to share their experience?
Something did come up to me. I heard as you were going through, are you afraid of what will come up for you as you go through this?
When you heard that, what was your initial response?
I don't think so, but I do know that not in this venue, but when I did work to overcome claustrophobia, I found out that the root cause of my claustrophobia, I didn't even remember until I saw the event that triggered it. And it has to do with an assault when I was like 6 years old. No, I always figured it was my brother who was always picking on me that was the cause of my aversion. But I saw the person who assaulted me in the place where it happened, and not his face, but his hand was over my mouth and my nose. So sometimes I do think, well, maybe there are other things that I don't even remember that can come up. I haven't had that experience with the tapping, but because of that one experience, maybe that was just an opening to say, well, you know, things could come up that you don't remember at all.
And that's could very well be the case. You know, Brittany was just on a call, I think it was Monday, and she was talking about how things are going to come up. We are going to remember things. We're going to have stuff come up, but to be careful not to search for things. Like you're saying, there might have been more things, and there might have been, Margaret, there might have been, but not to search them. They will show themselves at the right time when you're able to process and make that okay. When I say make it okay, I don't mean the event okay, but make it okay in your nervous system and your
Right.
so
When
I
you're better able to understand and cope.
yeah. So I appreciate the question, are you afraid? And then again, you know, you don't think so. This is a very safe community. What happens here stays here. I always say, well, I don't always say it, but I'm going to say it, you know, if you happen to be talking about this space outside of this space, I ask you to just talk about your experience, not the experience of, excuse me, somebody else, just for confidentiality and safety.
Right.
As well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that none of my family ever knew what happened to me as a kid. I never told anybody until I did the work on the claustrophobia, and only because that showed up. And then I did go on to do more work with the therapist on the event. I never told anybody. And I think part of it was because I was so young. I didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for being willing to share that here in this space. And I know many of us, I don't know, many of us, I believe, have had some experience similar, and can understand what that might have done to you at such a young age. And, you know, sometimes it's quite often that people who deal with food issues or being overweight are absolutely, thanks, Kathy, you know, holding on to food as protection and a lot of other things. So
Right.
thank you.
And I do promise, as soon as I get a new computer, you can see me, because I have such an old computer, it doesn't have a camera.
Well, thank you. We look forward to seeing your face. Real quick, Elizabeth, I want to get to you real quick, and then that'll be the end of our call today.
I
Beth,
just
I'm
have a
sorry.
technical question.
Mhm.
I don't know why I didn't notice it till just now, but the Fireflies AI note taker, that would indicate that this call is being recorded, either in written format or however. That's not standard for sessions in which we talk about personal things. So what is the use of that? What is the purpose of that? Because I don't see the purpose of recording our personal trauma stories.
That's a great question. And Fireflies is new to Zoom. Since AI has been on board. And what it does is it summarizes, it takes notes. So, Brittany uses these calls to help. So all the recorded calls go into the tapping circle recorded calls. You can access all kinds of past calls, whether it's a study group, the buddy calls, the specialty classes, when Brit's tapping. Those are all recorded for other students who come in. And so if that's an issue, and the calls have been recorded since, like I said, I started with Brittany in 2020. And all the calls were always recorded. Now, when you're doing the one-on-one coaching, those are not recorded. Like if you were to just do one-on-one coaching with myself or with Coach Casey or Dawn, those calls are not recorded. The recording comes on automatically, so you can ask for that to be stopped. But in a session like this, when it's a group, they are recorded and put into the portal for future.
I did not understand that. I know the previous buddy calls were not recorded. And I choose to speak amongst the group of people I see here. I am comfortable with that. But I am not comfortable being put out for public use. So that's the end of me.
So when you say public use, you're saying, because
you're saying that
outside
it's going to go on the website and people will be able to watch these for years to come, like all the other stuff she's got out there. That's, so old you can't even hear some of them. All of this, all of what we talk about is going out for public use, for however many people that is. And that is different than me deciding to speak in a small group of people.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I appreciate your time.
Well, before you hang up,
and
before you get off the call, would you feel comfortable if your camera was off and you were just speaking so that you didn't have your?
I might, but there was a discussion on this previously, very specifically related to this. I do know for a fact that buddy calls none of the buddy calls I attended previous to October were recorded. So yeah, I did not realize that these were being recorded and will be posted for everyone to see over and over again. That was not my choice. So yeah, no, I'm angry now again, because I didn't realize that these will be out there for everybody forever.
Okay, let me check with, I hear, I can feel you, I hear you.
I'm sure you can feel me because, yeah.
But let me check with, because I wasn't doing the buddy calls, I wasn't leading them before.
Definitely not recorded.
Okay.
And yeah, and nothing that I participate in which people are sharing trauma has ever been recorded. I do Zoom calls every single day. Zoom calls are recorded for many things, but not when people are sharing trauma. That is a HIPAA issue. So yeah, I got a big problem with this.
Okay.
For me personally, everyone else may be fine, and that's great. Everybody gets their individual choices on this.
Yep.
But my individual choice is I chose to speak to this group of people today only.
Okay. Okay.
So
I will bring this up and
if you would please, because it's a problem. No therapist would ever put conversations of trauma on a website for everybody to see for years to come. This is a problem.
I'm hearing you, Beth. I'm digesting it, and I will address it with Brittany. So
This was my attempt to try and come back into the fold here, but yeah.
what program are you in?
I see your message. I understand that. But all of these sessions have been, the whole program is people dealing with trauma. So you can say that because that's the business model standpoint. But when people are talking about being abused and be any trauma that they're having, especially from childhood trauma, this is a problem. So yes, I hear you, Casey. I hear you. I choose not to do this anymore. That is my statement.
Hey, Beth, I know you, and I want you to know, first of all, that I hear you. And as coaches, I know that we will talk to Brittany about this. The one thing I wanted to ask everybody, because I know that for me, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a coach, but when I came onto the call today, and most of the calls that we do, whether it's buddy calls, specialty calls, there's always like a notice. And I'm wondering if you remember seeing this, or maybe you didn't see it, because it says AI is being used and you have to actually click OK. And I just wondered if you saw that.
Because I'm on Zoom calls every day, and some of them, a lot of them are recorded.
Yeah.
I believe that it is possible that my brain just automatically clicked in that,
Yeah.
because I think also you don't get in otherwise. And so yes, I think it's a habit. So you're right. I'm just making my statement now because I realize this.
Sure,
So
sure.
so this is where we are, and I thank you for trying to pull me back into the fold, but this was the trauma that was restarted in October.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everybody's attempt here to help. I
Yeah.
do. But with a therapy background, this is not right. So thank you, Don. I will be talking to you again, but I
Yeah.
can't do the groups. Well, I could do the groups if I choose not to ever speak again. But for me, not speaking doesn't resolve anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, we will talk to Brittany, and I'll talk to you one-on-one, Beth. I'm so sorry.
I already know what the answer is. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you offering to talk, but I already know what the answer is. That's why we are where we are today. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like totally blow the feel of this. That wasn't my intent. But it did trigger some major trauma for me. So I'm sorry about that, but I have gotten the clarification I needed, and I will, I guess, be on my way. And if I am back, I will choose to never ever speak again. Because I came here to speak about the things that were the traumas that I needed to get through. So yeah.
Well,
But
I
I
do
can do
appreciate you.
one-on-ones.
I do appreciate you speaking up. And this actually, I was going to stop the recording, and I thought, no, I'm going to let it go because I want, we can always trim it later, but I want Brittany to be able to feel this and listen to it too. And so I will make sure that she knows how far into, basically at the top of the hour, so that she can go back and listen to it and feel into it as well. So thank you, Beth. Okay. All right.
I apologize to everyone else and to all of you, because that was not my intent, but it triggered what it triggered. So, and that's what Brittany's program is about, is what triggers us. So
Okay.
thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for
Have a
being
good
here.
day, Beth.
Okay. And to everyone, thank you for being here. And the next call is on Monday. So I can't guarantee that I'll be able to speak with Brittany before then. So we will probably just go, you know, continue at that point to record the calls. So I will at least reach out to her today. So thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye. You too.